Results are coming in from Israel's second general election in 6 months' time, but there are still some questions about the country's leadership going forward. That's our first story today on CNN 10. I'm Carl Azuz. Thank you for watching. It was a close race. It could be days before the certified tally comes in with votes still arriving from Israelis in other parts of the world. And it could be weeks before the nation knows who its prime minister will be going forward and what its governments look like. The vote is being watched around the world because Israel is a close ally of the United States. Israel has several rivals in the Middle East, and the policies of Israel's government help shape the peace process between Israelis and Palestinians. Election results on the path forward for Israel's government are uncertain. There are dozens of political parties in the country, and no one party got the minimum 61 seats that are necessary to hold a majority in parliament and choose Israel's prime minister. So coalitions have to be formed. Groups of parties that agree to work together, and based on the results of today's election so far, it looks like the party of the former Israeli military leader Benny Gantz won 32 seats, one more than the party of incumbent Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So each of these men is doing all he can to convince a coalition of parties to support him to get that 61-seat threshold and press forward with governing Israel. A CNN Global Affairs analyst says if neither of them can form that coalition, another third election could be held in January. Of the different parties would have to come together in a national unity government. When rivals groups agree to govern together, it's not certain they'd be all willing to do that, but Israel has had several unity governments in the past. While that nation works to chart a path forward, technology companies around the world are trying to do the same thing, facing the challenges of electronic landscapes that's always changing. Smartphone sales, for example, are on the slide. People aren't upgrading as often as they used to, and some are opting for cheaper phones. The world's largest smartphone maker is SamSung. It's feeling that pressure. It's also dealing with fallout from its products that failed in the past, like Galaxy Note 7. Some of those were prone to catching fire. The South Korean company could also suffer from a trade dispute that its nation has with Japan, and one of Samsung's leaders is fighting in charge of bribery. So the company is fighting headwinds as it fights to stay ahead of its competitions.